Who would think that a group of Minnesotans would have mastered all the warmth of Brazil? In effect, also composing the music. Gary Brunotte and his group, from a collection called Yesterday's Dream, performing. And I'm going to just contact Gary right now and ask him, first of all, you're part composer as well as performing pianist on this too, aren't you, Gary?
Thanks a lot, Leigh. Yes, I wrote that song a few years back when I was in Boston, actually, and revised it a little bit and brought it here.
Who wrote the lyric?
It's a person who lives in Boston. It was kind of a mystery thing. I used to, when I was a student, I worked midnights doing the midnight oil at a hotel, and this guy used to kind of bop in there about 3 in the morning, and so we'd go in the back room and write some songs together. His name is John Dominique.
And he certainly, along with you, have a wonderful feel for what is Joe Beam's territory and other writers of that beach in Copa.
Yeah, he had spent some time in Brazil, and that's where we got the idea, and that's why a little bit of Portuguese in the beginning, and what better person to sing it than Lucia, of course.
Lucia Newell.
Also was there for 2 years.
Yes, and a resident of Minneapolis and St. Paul who is a master of the Portuguese art.
Very, very good, yeah. I mean, her voice is so, she knows that style so well, like that little thing on the end where she does the kind of scat, or it's got a name for it, but I don't know what it's called exactly, the Brazilian thing on the end of the song there.
And behind this, Mark Anderson on special percussion with Gordy Johnson on bass and Gordy Knutson drums, making it, along with all of you, a complete Minnesota cast. Right.
And again, Gordy Knutson has that samba feel, because he played so much with Manfredo, you remember.
Yes.
A regular feel down perfect. So, and I can't say enough about Gordy Johnson and Mark Anderson either. They're just wonderful players. So.
And then the title of this, once again, is...
This one, I retitled it, so we called it, it's Adios Brazil, or Adeus Brasil, as she pronounces it, I think. Originally it had a long name, like O Hora do Próximo, which is a Portuguese name, which I don't even know what it all means for sure, you know. That's kind of a Joe Beamish thing. That was the idea, stay in that field down there.
Well, in this collection, Yesterday's Dream, you're going to premiere, too, another composition called Pensive, which we'll program in a moment, but you have a debut party for this CD coming up next Monday at the Dakota Bar and Grill, if I understand.
Right, about 8:15. Admission is free, actually. And I'll have that group there, although I'll also have a saxophonist, but I won't have Mark Anderson on percussion. We'll just be a quintet at this point.
And who will be working the woodwinds?
Woodwinds is Dave Milne. He's a professor out at the University of Wisconsin, head of the jazz department at River Falls, and he plays all the woodwinds, of course. Wonderful player, and good writer, too. Boy, he writes some nice things. He also plays in a sax quartet around town called the Ancia Quartet.
There certainly seems to be a lot of multi-skilled people working in the industry these days. In other words, people who can compose music and then perhaps handle lyrics and then do the performance. And how do you account for this multiplicity of skills developing with a lot of musicians these days?
Well, I think a lot of people are trying to do their own stuff, their own music, because, part of it is, in the old days, I mean, you had people writing them and then other people performing them. But a lot of people, you get more royalty rights and BMI performance rights and all that when you do your own. So that's why you'll see a lot of originals on albums these days. So you get the full rights to the songs, although usually a record company takes half of that as well, so...
Well, that gets into the business side of it, and of course that must be what a challenge for an artist to try to dig deeper into sharing the results of their work.
Right, and just a lot of people who are trained now in composition and stuff too, who've really gone to school and so on and so forth to learn the writing as well as the performing on the albums. Myself, I'm kind of split between the two. I like writing as much as I do playing, and it just kind of goes back and forth.
Well, you have been working, too, from acoustic piano to the electronic keyboards, synthesizers et al. This next composition, which you composed entitled Pensive, features your work, and you might describe for us how it all unfolds.
Oh, okay. Again, this one, I tried to stay in more of a Latin vein in spots. This song was written long ago, actually, for a big band out in Boston for part of the Berkeley record series, Jazz in the Classroom series, for a baritone feature. And then I said, well, I'll rework this because I really wanted to do something with synthesizers on this particular album. not just all live. So I did an intro with strings and voice and some flute sounds off a Kurzweil machine, overlaid about 8 or 9 tracks, I guess, of different effects, which was really fun to do. The mixing was hard. We spent about 3 hours mixing this part alone, I think, this tune. And then I had to filter in some nice acoustic piano, which I always put in there. And then I went to a little interlude. The song Pensive kind of implies mood, so I was in kind of a different moods, and I went through 3 different moods. It's kind of a movie type of music was what I was looking for. Try out my orchestration ability on synthesizers and see how that went.
And the synthesizers here really replace, I suppose, violins.
Strings I couldn't afford, that's right. The budget didn't allow for the strings and some flutes. And actual voice in there as well. I used a little bit on some voice effects.
Well, let's say you could afford it. What would you hire in the way of string players? And
I'd hire the same band that Scott Hamilton just had, and I'd actually get Alan Broadbent to arrange it like he just did. Boy, that's some wonderful string writing on there. No, you'd probably have a good, 20 violins, and it's hard to say. I've never really written for a full orchestra. That's out of my league at this point, but something I want to do yet in my life.
Well, Gary, much encouragement for your career, and good luck on your debut of Yesterday's Dream and the coming out party for this CD Monday at the Dakota. And thanks very much for sitting in with us on a Saturday night.
And thanks for having me on your show, and I really enjoy your show a lot. You got some great things going on. Talking about the local stuff, too, all the things that are going on here. That's nice of you to do.
Well, Gary Brunotte, we will pursue your composition and your musical muse right now.